Celeste was the only person there for that graduation.
They were seen together on December 30th and December 31st in downtown Los Angeles.
The medical examiner has not yet ruled on the cause or manner of death.
Could Celeste Rivas' own family have unknowingly helped cover up her death? That's the question investigators and the public are now asking, as disturbing new evidence paints a much darker picture than anyone ever expected. For months, the story seemed simple: a missing girl, a tragic discovery, and a famous name caught in the middle. But now, private investigator Steve Fischer says the truth may have been hidden in plain sight, not just by outsiders, but by the very people who claimed to love her the most. New information suggests that Celeste's family might have known where she was, who she was with, and how long she had been alive after they reported her missing. Photos, videos, and public records now show a timeline that doesn't match the one her relatives gave to the police. And behind those contradictions lies a much deeper question. Why would anyone lie about seeing her alive? As investigators piece together the final year of her life, the silence surrounding her story feels heavier than ever. This isn't just about a celebrity's car or a headline. It's about a young woman whose truth was hidden behind too many secrets, and how those secrets might have protected the wrong people.
They may have, I'm not sure when his birthday is, but they may have been 20 and 14 years old if they were together romantically. And again, ain't no law, nowhere, no how, unless your parents are signing off on it, that says that's legal.
Celeste was the only person there for that graduation. I think there was adult family members there as well.
For the longest time, everyone believed the same story, that Celeste's family hadn't seen her since she ran away in April 2024. They said that she disappeared and they had no idea where she had gone. But the more we learn, the harder that story is to believe, because now it's been confirmed that Celeste was seen multiple times after that so-called last disappearance. Private investigator Steve Fischer posted photo evidence showing Celeste at her cousin Esmeralda's graduation on May 30th, 2024. And a few months later, in September 2024, another video surfaced, this time showing Celeste outside of her home in Lake Elsinore, arguing with neighbors.
You don't even got a house. Hey, bro. I'm not Mexican. I'm all the door and you just tripping.
Oh my god.
Not because you tripping.
She was alive, she was there, and yet, at that exact time, her family was still telling the world that she was missing. So what does that mean? It means that at some point, somebody in that house decided to stay quiet. Instead of calling the police to say that she had been found safe, family members allegedly told neighbors not to look for her, claiming she was staying with relatives near Los Angeles.
So I was told by a source very close that on the last time she went missing, the family members were saying, don't look for her. She's staying with other family members near LA.
And when you think about it, that kind of silence isn't just strange, it's heartbreaking. Because if the people closest to her knew where she was and chose not to tell anyone, they didn't just keep a secret. They might have taken away her chance to be protected. Fischer says that decision may have been about more than privacy. He believes the family's silence was driven by fear of Child Protective Services, that reporting Celeste as safe could have exposed what was really happening inside that home. When you start piecing together the full story, it becomes painfully clear that Celeste's home life was not what it looked like on paper. From the outside, people saw a family desperate for answers, posting flyers, giving interviews, saying they just wanted her home. But behind that public image, multiple professionals investigating this case have said something completely different. Now, according to Steve Fischer and others close to the situation, Celeste's relationship with her family was deeply strained. He said it was known among people that lived in Lake Elsinore that she had run away more than once, and that every time she came back, the situation inside the home only got worse.
So the Daily Mail stated that Celeste ran away because her family did not approve of her alleged relationships with D4VD, better known as David Burke. Of course not. Why would they? Right? Because she's underage.
There are reports suggesting that there was ongoing emotional or verbal maybe even physical, the kind of environment that makes someone feel trapped. People who knew her, including an old boyfriend from middle school, said she used to joke about running away all the time. To her, it wasn't rebellion, it was survival. It was the only way that she could get away from the yelling, the tension, and the constant feeling that she wasn't safe, even at home. And if that's true, then it changes everything we thought we knew about this case.
At what point did you feel, or did you hear from Celeste that there were problems at home?
She said how her mom didn't treat her well or whatever, and she didn't like where she was at.
Did she talk at all about her relationship with her parents?
Kinda. She just said they were mean or whatever. She didn't like them.
Now, with all this new information coming out, investigators are starting to look at this case in a completely different way. Because for the longest time, everyone focused on that car, David's connection, and how did Celeste even end up there? But what's being talked about now goes way deeper. It's about what happened before that and who might have looked the other way. Steve Fischer has been very open about how strange this entire situation feels. He is the one who pointed out that, at the very least, a crime did happen. Someone hid a body.
If someone just moved Celeste's body, possibly under California law, that may be just a misdemeanor. There's a law that says every person who, having knowledge of an accidental death, actively conceals or attempts to conceal that death shall be guilty of a misdemeanor, punishable by imprisonment in a county jail for not more than 1 year.
But he also said that the real question isn't just who put her there, it's why no one spoke up sooner. Fisher has also hinted that the investigation could shift again once the coroner's final report comes out. If they find that Celeste's death wasn't violent but happened because of neglect or an accident, investigators could start asking a new question. Not just who hit her, but who failed her. Because if the truth is that her death could have been prevented and people knew more than they said, then this isn't just about concealment anymore. It's about accountability and whether anyone in her circle will ever face it.
If it was, I think if they got a good toxicology, let's say it came back and it was clearly no dose of some sort, whether somebody administered that or she took it herself and it was an accident is a different thing. The cause would be, a real manner would be whether it was self-administered or administered by someone else. I would think that there would have been some sort of indication by now, and that could be, then initial charges could be dropped.
Now, let's be real. This whole situation took a turn the second that car was found because, as you guys already know, Celeste's body was discovered inside a Tesla registered to David. That's not a rumor, that's a fact. And while police haven't linked him directly to any homicide, it is impossible to ignore that everything keeps circling back to him and the people around her. What's strange is that even with a car, a timeline, and now all these new claims about her family knowing where she was, the case is still in limbo. The LAPD hasn't said anything new since their last statement, and the medical examiner still hasn't released the final toxicology report. So right now, we're basically sitting in the dark, waiting for answers that never seem to come. There were also things reportedly found at the house that David was staying in, items that people believed looked like someone had plans to hide or get rid of something.
There were multiple items that could be used together, heavy-duty tools and machinery that you would never see in a Hollywood Hills home.
No one's confirmed exactly what they were, but the details were unsettling. Still, none of it proves how Celeste died or who is responsible. At this point, the entire case feels frozen, like everyone is holding their breath. But one thing is for sure, if those reports are true, then the line between protecting someone and helping hide the truth just got very, very thin. Now, the internet has been following this case from day one, but now the conversation has completely shifted. One comment that's been making the rounds said, okay, cause when everything was happening, I literally said my biggest takeaway from this is the parents need to also be arrested for either complicity or negligence. They are not surprised enough. And honestly, that's what a lot of people have been thinking. Because it's one thing to grieve, but it's another to pretend that you don't know anything when the receipts say otherwise. Another user summed it up perfectly. Wow, that family turned plot twists into an Olympic sport. sport. Every time you think the story is settled, another lie jumps out like surprise confetti. It is wild how truth takes its time, but always crashes the party in the end. It's harsh, but that comment pretty much captures how exhausted people are, not just by the case, but by the lies around it. Then you've got others saying what many suspected from the start. I've been said that the family had to be in on it. That's the sentiment spreading right now, you guys. People are connecting the dots on their own, comparing statements, screenshots, timelines, and truth be told, it is not looking good for anyone involved. So yeah, people are frustrated and they have every right to be, because it's starting to look like the truth wasn't lost, it was buried. And now, little by little, it's forcing its way out. Until the final reports come out and we finally get answers straight from investigators, this case isn't done. Not even close. There's still way too much that doesn't make sense, and the silence is starting to sound louder than the facts. I'll keep following every update as it comes, and when something breaks, you already know we'll talk about it here. So stay tuned, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.